All right, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to keep chopping it up about what's going on in boxing. And Terence Crawford is, because he's been more active and talking more on his Twitter feed and all that, has been more of a conversation in boxing. He is responding to critics of his resume by saying, "Hey, man, people get on me about who I'm fighting, but they don't look at who the other guys have fought." Well, in this video, we're going to do that and address what Terence Crawford had to say. Stay put to the end of the video. There are going to be a lot of interesting points made into it. Also, I certainly hope you give me your response in the comment section. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk more about Terence Crawford. Right now, ain't nobody fighting anybody in boxing, so Terence Crawford isn't the only one out there that isn't making fights, because that's just what boxing is right now. We're in a situation where we chop it up with one another to talk boxing about subjects fights that may or may not happen. What one fighter has to say about the other fighter. But the crazy thing is that, at first you might think, that's because we're in the middle of this virus, and there's a lot of people that are, can't make fights. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of time in boxing, we wind up doing the same thing regardless. And that there's actually more things to talk about now as far as what fighters are saying, giving their own, giving their insight on social media, because there's nothing else to do. You get a lot more of it. And I think we're actually getting to see the minds of boxers, certain boxers, not everybody's doing it, but certain boxers more than we did when there was a fight every weekend, right? Now, this particular circumstance with Terence Crawford, I think, is one of them, because he actually is spending the time reacting to what fans are saying about him. And one of the things that fans have been saying about him for a while, the detractors of his have been saying for a while, and now supporters of him are starting to say more and more, is that, hey, man, Terence Crawford is a really great fighter, but his resume is not the strongest. And I don't think that there's really, since he got to 147 pounds, I have no issue with what he did at 140 or 135. But, hey, man, that's what's being said more and more. And unfortunately, there's a lot of truth to it. But Terence Crawford doesn't appreciate it. And I can understand why he wouldn't, because not everybody is getting the same level of scrutiny that he is getting regarding the opponents they pick. But let's go through the challenge that Terence Crawford offered, asked us to take, and say, hey, let's look at the opponents of the people that he's saying that these other people are fighting, right? Because if he's saying that people are being unfair to him, but they're not looking at the resumes of other people, the other people that people fought in the welterweight division, and if they're fighting the same level of competition, he's got a point. So let's go through them. Manny Pacquiao, last two fights were Keith Thurman, Adrian Bronner. Before that, I think he fought Lucas Matisse. And before that, he fought Jeff Horn. But before that, he had fought, Manny Pacquiao's resume. He'd fought a lot of top tier fighters. He caught him at different times, might have caught him when they were a little bit down on the downside of their career, like an Oscar De La Hoya or a Miguel Cotto or a Shane Mosley, caught them, after prime, but he's got a lot of names on his resume. So I think that it's fair to say that not a lot of people are going to be really calling into question whether or not Manny Pacquiao has fought top-notch opponents. So, I don't really see an issue with Manny Pacquiao's level of competition. I don't see a problem with it at all. Now, compare that to Terence Crawford's last four fights. Last fight against Igis Kalvinakis, I don't necessarily have a problem with that because it was a mandatory. The fight before that, Amir Khan, that's trash. The fight before that, Jose Benavidez, that's trash. The fight before that, was it Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez, Jeff Horn, and Igis Kalvinakis. So Igis Kalvinakis, not a big deal. Amir Khan, that sucks. Jose Pedraza, that sucks. And Jeff Horn, he won the belt off of. So, in my opinion, even just at the welterweight division, the fact that Manny Pacquiao fought Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao fought Adrian Bronner, and even Lucas Matisse puts him up on the resume of Terence Crawford at 147 pounds. So doing exactly what Terence Crawford is asking me to do, line up the resumes of the people that the other champions at 147 pounds. Well, that is, if we're going record, that battle of the records goes to Manny Pacquiao. Second guy, Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. has fought Sean Porter, who's a former IBF champion, former WBC champion in the unification fight. Pretty good fight. Fight before that, Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia moving up in weight, a 4-division champion. I don't think that's as good a fight for Errol Spence Jr.'s resume as the Sean Porter fight, but it's there. Some people were saying that they could that Mikey Garcia can figure out Errol Spence, but some people said that. A lot of people thought it was going to be a dog walk. It was a dog walk, so that's what it is. The fight before that, Carlos Ocampo. Carlos Ocampo's a mandatory. Fight before that, Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson, I say, would be a step above maybe the Amir Khan fight for, it's a step above Amir Khan for the Terence Crawford fight. It was pretty much what Errol Spence Jr. could get because Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and Keith Thurman weren't trying to fight him. So he took the fight that he could get and to stay active. Lamont Peterson, I would put, if I compared that to somebody on Bud's resume, I would say it's right up there with an Amir Khan type of win. Nobody really thought, matter of fact, I think I predicted a towel was going to get thrown in, that fight between Errol Spence and Lamont Peterson was going to end with a towel getting thrown out. And I was dead right. Woo! Barry Hunter, towel on the ground, fight over. The fight before that, Carlos Ocampo. And then, those were the last 4 fights. The fight before that, the 5th fight was Kell Brook that he won the belt off of. And I would take Kell Brook over Jeff Horn any day of the week. So you compare those two people, the resume at 147 pounds, advantage goes to Errol Spence. So now I'm doing exactly what Bud Crawford is saying. I'm going through the top fighters at 147 pounds and comparing his wins with theirs. And so far, out of 3 champions at 147 pounds, he's number 3. But there's more to boxing than just the champions. Let's look at the people that are the top welterweights that are not champions. Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman fought Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman fought Danny Garcia. Keith Thurman fought Sean Porter. Keith Thurman fought, he even fought the guy he had a problem with. What was his name? Josecito Lopez. Man, I would take the Josecito Lopez fight I would take over Amir Khan. I would take Josecito Lopez over Igis Kalvanakis. Take Josecito Lopez over Jose Benavidez. I would take him over Jeff Horn. So, I mean, just the fact that between Josecito Lopez and Manny Pacquiao, that's a wrap. Keith Thurman, and then you put Keith Thurman with Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. Man, that's a better lineup that he fought at 147. So that would put, of the 4 people that I've talked about so far, that I've addressed, Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, and Terence Crawford, he comes in number 4. Let's go to Sean Porter. Sean Porter is not a champion, is a contender, fought Adrian Bronner, fought Keith Thurman, fought Danny Garcia, fought Errol Spence Jr. Is there really a competition between the two? No. So now, of the 5 people that I've talked about, Errol Spence Jr., Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and Terence Crawford, as far as the resumes of people he fought, he's down at number 5. Now, if you if I can name every champion and 3 of the top contenders that have all done more work at 147 pounds than Terence Crawford has, I don't necessarily think that people are being unfair to him and by calling into question his record. Because win or lose, Adrian Bronner, win or lose, Adrian Bronner has fought better competition than Terence Crawford has. Between Marcus Maidana, Manny Pacquiao, Sean Porter, those are better. Jesse Vargas, Jesse Vargas would be a top guy on Terence Crawford's resume at 147 pounds. It's just, come on, man. Nah, bud, I'm not flying with it. Dude, I did what he said. You said the people that are criticizing him aren't talking about the other people's resumes. Well, I just did. And from what I can see, dude, you fought the weakest level of competition of any of the welterweight champions and a lower level of competition at welterweight than at least 3 of the top contenders. And yet you're the champion. So I don't think it's unfair for somebody to point to that. That's my take. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.